Coming up on the Northern Sun Showcase, Sixational, success, pick up six. Any way you say it, Concordia wins its 6th NCAA Volleyball National Championship. MSU soccer takes a deep run in the NCAA tournament, as does football. We'll take a look at 2 of the top football players in the NSIC. And the snow is flying, and that means the winter sports seasons are in full swing. That and much more coming up as the Northern Sun Showcase starts now. Thanks for dropping by the Northern Sun Showcase. Division II athletics, 16 members strong up here in the upper Midwest. Life in balance. I'm Mike Woodley along with the Commissioner, Butch Raymond. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to wrap up the fall season, look ahead, of course, to everything going on in winter. But we must start, Butch, with a remarkable 6th consecutive national championship for Concordia's Golden Bears.
Sixational, I think, is what you call it, Mike. I can't really find the right words to explain what Coach Brady Starkey and his young ladies have done in the sport of volleyball. It's just unprecedented, and certainly what they've gone through and put volleyball on the map for the Northern Sun is astounding. You know, Mike, we had a little bit different format this year. First of all, we had tri-champions. Minnesota Duluth, Southwest Minnesota State, and Concordia all tied for our championship. So then we went into an 18 tournament, which we haven't done for a few years, and certainly there were some ties that needed to be broken about seeding. But had a very competitive tournament, and Southwest Minnesota State actually defeated Concordia in the championship game to go on to the region as the #1 seed. We had Southwest, we had Concordia, we had Duluth, and we had Wayne State College, 4 of the 8 teams in the region. Looking at the region, certainly I think that's when Concordia started to put everything together. They won the championship match against University of Nebraska Kearney 3-1. And that became kind of a magic number for them. They moved on to the Elite 8 tournament. In the first round, they defeated Wingate 3-1. Then they went into the semifinals and defeated BYU Hawaii 3-1. And then, of course, the championship game against Tampa, championship match against Tampa, they won 3-2, coming from behind all the way.
Yeah, trailing, losing the first 2 games of that, and then rallying back to win 3 consecutive in very dramatic fashion.
And they won the third game 25-23. They won the fourth game 25-23. And they eventually won the 5th game 16-14.
What a thrilling season, what a thrilling career for the seniors on the Concordia team. Among them was Ellie Duffy, and Ellie was a senior All-American. She joined us on the Northern Sun weekly radio show and looked back at that thrilling national championship run for the Golden Bears.
I've been playing volleyball for a long time, and that was by far the most exciting match I've ever been a part of. Tampa was a great team. They had a lot of really talented players, and they came out and played really well. It was really exciting. Like, they played well, we played well. It was just a great match.
Butch, Ellie Duffy, just an outstanding student athlete, too. Great accomplishments there. She's going to go on in real life, but what a fantastic moment for the school and really everybody on the team.
Well, I think, Mike, and again, if you remember in that radio conversation we had with her, that she gave a lot of credit to the other teams in the Northern Sun for preparing them to be able to play in the region and in the championship Elite 8. She said the competition that they had to go through, and again, having tri-champions is just an indication of that. Really did a great job in them. They were ready to play when they got there.
So what would be if they win 7? No, we won't even go into what 7 in a row might
no, that doesn't work, does it?
We got a whole year to worry about that.
7 up? No, that doesn't work either.
Well, let's move on now to the Cross Country Championships. The Northern Sun well represented there as well. Augustana leading the way. And let's talk about the great accomplishments Tracy Hellman's team did there at the national title.
Yes, Augustana was our champion, both men and women, and they were the regional champion, both men and women, and led us into the national championships with their men finishing 4th and Minnesota State Mankato's men finishing 20th, I believe it was. So, again, well represented there. And on the women's side, Augustana finished 2nd. They were the defending champions, so they were not quite able to defend there, but they finished 2nd. Winona State finished 9th, and the University of Mary finished 13th. So well represented in both areas.
And let's hear from Tracy Hellman about the fantastic season for Augustana.
For both teams to place in the top 4 get trophies, and so it's something we've strived for within our program. It's the first trophy for our men's program, and they all just ran lights out, had some great performances. Travis Baniak leading the way. And we got some veterans on our team, but we also got some young kids. So the future definitely looks, especially good in our men. You're going to have ups and downs, and how you handle those things, and just remember the hard work that the team's put in. And again, second at the national championship is, and then we're a little bit down about it. That speaks high volumes about where our program is right now.
But so often we talk about life and balance, what Division II athletics is really all about. And another extreme example of that with an Elite 89 winner.
Mike, do you know what an Elite 89 winner is?
That's an outstanding student athlete.
Well, that's a good start on it. It's,
there's more to it.
The Elite 89 winner is the young man or woman participating in that sport at the national level who has the top GPA of all the student athletes that are there. This program started in 2010, and the Northern Sun actually had 2 winners that year. We had Matt Braithwaite from Augustana, a cross-country winner, and we had Lauren Brown, a track and field participant from Winona State. And then going into 2011, we had Cody Lensing from Augustana in wrestling, and we have Kendra Huddle from Minnesota State Mankato in softball. And now this year, a great start for the Northern Sun with Billy Brockmuller, a cross-country runner from the University of Sioux Falls, was the Elite 89 winner in men's cross-country.
And really what it's all about is excelling not only in the athletics, but also in the classroom, and that's what these student athletes are doing, and really what Division II is all about.
Absolutely, and one of the things we're really proud of is that the Northern Sun had 547 NSIC academic All-Americans.
When we come back, we're going to continue to wrap up the fall season, take a look at what happened in football and soccer, so stay with us on the Northern Sun Showcase.
The Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference, 16 schools, 18 sports, one common goal, athletic and academic excellence. Student athletes in the league compete and win NCAA National Championships while learning the skills to compete and win in life. The NSIC has developed into one of the premier NCAA Division II conferences in the nation. The NSIC, win here, win in life. Learn more at northernsun.org or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
We all train differently. It's about numbers. What works for you might not work for your teammates. The same thing goes for staying hydrated. As you compete, you sweat, and it leaves your body at a unique rate. At a certain point before the game's even over, you sweat so much that your performance suffers, unless your numbers are right. Through superior research, we've unlocked the formula to optimize those numbers. The math for you is simple.
I chose Division II because athletes graduate at a higher rate.
I can stay closer to home and be an important part of the community. I chose Division II because I can double major
and take part in campus activities.
I chose Division II because classrooms are smaller.
Students have more time with their instructors.
And I can compete for a national championship. I chose Division II for all these reasons and more.
I chose Division II.
All right, let's talk football here on the Northern Sun Showcase. Butch Raymond with the North and South Division and outstanding talent in football in the Northern Sun. It was quite a season.
It was extremely competitive, and as you said, it's one of the 2 sports where we have divisions, North and South. And on the northern half, we had Bemidji State University and the University of Minnesota Duluth that tied for the championship. On the south half, we had Minnesota State Mankato that won that and eventually won the overall championship too.
Let's talk about Minnesota Duluth going on, of course, to the NCAA playoffs, and a thrilling matchup for them. They fall short, but there was accomplishments in that game, especially from Chase Vogler, that game and all season long, that will be remembered a long, long time.
Well, Chase Vogler is one of those young men that we're going to miss in the North Side. At least we are. I'm not sure the opposing coaches are going to miss him. But, yes, unfortunately, Duluth was defeated 57-55 in 3 overtimes by Missouri Western, and just one of those games that, depending on when it ended, could have won something else. But Chase Vogler had an outstanding game. But Mike, just think a little bit about what this man has done, what this young man's done in the Northern Sun. He started 52 consecutive games at quarterback. He was 46-6 in those 52 games. He won 4 North Division NSIC championships, 2 overall NSIC championship, and in 2010 a national championship in Division II. And in all that, his statistics: 10,000, 486 total yards he had in his career.
Just a remarkable career and season for Chase Vogler and Minnesota Duluth. Now, Minnesota State Mankato, who won the overall title, played on and saw victory in their first NCAA game.
Well, they started off excitingly too. They played Northwest Missouri State and won 38-35 in 2 overtimes, not 3, just 2, and then went on to defeat Missouri Western, the team that beat Duluth 17-10, to get into the semifinal match. And that semifinal game, they were fortunate enough to host it. They played Valdosta State out of Georgia. And again, one extremely hard-fought game. They ended up losing 38-13. Game was really a lot closer than that. In a game like this, you've got to make some big plays. And they had their chances in the fourth quarter. They missed an extra point, missed a field goal that made it a 2-possession, and just couldn't overcome that. But certainly a great season for them and a tremendous effort that they gave us in the national playoffs.
When you're playing at home in front of a packed house in football in December, you know it's been a great season. And Mankato, Minnesota State Mankato had exactly that. Now, the highest-ranking team in the conference that does not qualify for the NCAA playoffs goes to the Mineral Water Bowl. And Winona State, no stranger to going to that particular game, and they had a fine season, too. That's how tough the competition is. And they had a nice performance down in Excelsior Springs, Missouri.
Well, they were highly rated in the region, but just fell 1 game short. But I think maybe when you look at it, they maybe were the most improved team at the end of the season in the way that they were playing, and certainly went to the Mineral Water Bowl and represented us extremely well. I believe they beat Lindenwood 42-21, if I remember correctly. And of course, Rayon Simmons, their outstanding running back. He was the most valuable player offensively, and Ryan Williams, one of their defensive players, was the outstanding defensive player.
Just amazing numbers if you look at Simmons, in particular on offense. 1,586 season rushing yards, 4,000.
That's an NSIC record, Mike.
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Also setting career record seasons. Just remarkable. And Simmons coach Tom Sawyer, the longtime Winona State football coach, looked back at a fantastic season and career for his talented running back.
Well, he's the best ever in the Northern Sun. I mean, that's a pretty big statement to say, because I've been around here for 30 years and I've watched a lot of great backs. He's a different kind. We've had a lot of great backs, a lot of different styles, and we've had that here also. But to say that, just to be the best in the conference, is something remarkable. You know, conference started in 1932. It was a long time ago, so it's really fun to be a part of that history. And as far as the Midwest backs, obviously he was one of the best coming out of Missouri when he was a high school kid, and now he's one of the best backs in the country at Division II level. Very proud of that.
Butch, every year was 16 teams. There's a number of remarkable stories of student athletes making a difference in football, and here's another case of that.
Yes, the Glenn Galligan Award, Mike, is an award that the Northern Sun football coaches give to an outstanding student athlete in our conference. It's named after a former football coach at Winona State University, and the person that wins this is a young man that's had to have played 4 years. He has to be on his track to graduate. He needs to be a good student, and he needs to have done something outstanding on his campus of what he's done. And I think this year's winner is just Richard Daniel is a classic example. Here's a young man that walked on at Wayne State College, was not recruited, walked on, and all he did was end up being a 3-year all-conference player. This year he was the defensive player of the year and has done some remarkable things within his life and within the Northern Sun.
When Richard Daniel came to Wayne State, he had no intent on staying too long and was focused on only one thing.
When I first came to Wayne State, my only goal was to play football. I didn't care about school or helping out or anything like that, and I was pretty selfish.
But soon after he arrived, he learned there's more to life than just football.
After we got coming here and meeting all the people here, just a different culture here at Wayne State. People really care about people and stuff, and I was hanging around people in Creek State that were very loving towards people, and I'd never seen that before. And so that I wanted to be part of that too, and not only play football, but to actually help other people out.
Daniel joined Campus Crusaders soon after arriving on campus, a decision that would change the direction of his life and the places he would go.
I've been involved with Campus Crusaders since I was a freshman, and it's really impacted my life and stuff, and just finding out about Jesus Christ. And Campus Crusaders has these things called summer projects, and that they send students all over the world, Africa or like San Diego or Asia and stuff like that, and I had an opportunity to go to Africa.
Daniel has made multiple trips to Africa the past 4 years to help out at local orphanages. The experiences, he said, were life-altering.
I got to see, kids living in an orphanage that didn't have much and stuff, and it was really impacting me just because, it really showed me how much I had over here and just how much God really blessed me and how much we are a blessed country.
On the football field, Daniel was a tear and was named the 2012 NSIC Defensive Player of the Year. But he also earned the Galligan Award, which is given for athletic and academic success, along with making a positive contribution to your institution.
I was shocked to get it. I never thought I'd be able to win that and stuff. And so it's kind of cool to see that people recognize that, I guess.
So after earning many life lessons, winning multiple awards, and taking mission trips to Africa, what's in store for Richard Daniel?
I plan on going on staff with Campus Crusade for Christ in Lincoln and be on staff with them and just working on different college campuses and just trying to impact other people's lives, like how people have impacted my life. And also I want to try and play football somewhere. I don't know if that'll happen or not. If it doesn't, I'll do Crusade stuff. But if it does, I'd like to play football somewhere or something.
And for Richard Daniel, came just to play football, learned a little bit about life, and that's really what Division II athletics, the Northern Sun's all about.
It really is, Mike. It's a touching story and certainly a very worthwhile recipient of the Galligan Award.
Well, one of the other things that we talk about quite often on this show is how the universities make their place in the community, and such was recently the case with Concordia University making a difference in their area and bringing and remembering some very important people.
Well, the NCAA puts an award out, a Game Environment Award for each of the conferences, and they have a small stipend of that they give of $500, which is not why you do that, but just an award. And every school in your conference can apply for it because we all do certain things, game environment. But this year the winner was Concordia-St. Paul, and they had their Day of Heroes award that they gave. Again, so the NCAA, you apply, they look at it, and they make the call. They decide of all of our 16 schools, this is the one that they chose.
When we come back, soccer coming your way. We'll look back at a fantastic season that went into the postseason. That and more as we continue on the Northern Sun Showcase.
So, what kind of financial help are you looking for? Maybe you need insurance to help protect you. Benefits to help your business reach new heights. Or a retirement plan to invest for the future. Then again, maybe there's someone who can help with all of those things. The Principal Financial Group will give you an edge.
The Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference, 16 schools, 18 sports, one common goal, athletic and academic excellence. Student athletes in the league compete and win NCAA National Championships while learning the skills to compete and win in life. The NSIC has developed into one of the premier NCAA Division II conferences in the nation. The NSIC, win here, win in life. Learn more at northernsun.org or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Ever wish your bank were right at your fingertips?
Hey, honey, thanks for depositing that check for me today. Love you.
Love you too.
Love you more.
I love you way more.
You're the best.
You're way better.
You're my huggy bear.
In branch, online, on your iPad, iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry, U.S. Bank is there when you need us.
We continue to wrap up the fall season and look ahead to winter on the Northern Sun Showcase. And Butch, let's talk about soccer. There are now 16 members in the Northern Sun Conference, 2 new members this year. And for Minot State, they won the tournament championship, and that's the first title for one of the 2 new schools in the conference.
It is, and again, Mike, we continually say this, that women's soccer is one of probably our most up-and-coming sport on the level of competition that we have, getting closer and closer to what volleyball is.
And it was Minot State going on to tie Minnesota State in the semifinals, then beat Winona State in the finals 1-0. And let's hear from Minot State's Zoe Fisher on how it feels to be named the NSIC Tournament MVP.
It's amazing. I'm speechless. I can't even explain it. I couldn't believe it, really. Especially as our first year in D2, we wouldn't even dreamed of it at the start of the season. It was just, we've gone so far. Everyone said we couldn't make it, and here we are, and we made it. And it was just the whole team cohesion coming together, and well, we did it.
And while the victory went to Minot State for the conference tournament, it was quite a struggle all year with a very competitive conference.
It was, Mike. The competition, again, and I know people get tired of us saying that, but the competition was just the way a commissioner would like it. And with Minnesota State Mankato winning the overall, and Winona and Minot right behind them, into the tournament, as you mentioned. Minot defeats Minnesota State. Winona wins, goes into the championship game, and Minot wins 1-0 over Winona. And unfortunately for Winona, that one loss cost them an opportunity to move on into the region. But both Minnesota State and Minot did continue on into regional play. And
Minot State did fall in the first round to Southwest Oklahoma State 3-0, but Minnesota State moved on with a victory 1-0 against Central Oklahoma. They did, and then in the championship game, they came back and won and beat Central Missouri in a shootout. I think the score was tied 1-1, and they ended up winning in the shootout and moved on to the Elite Eight of women's soccer, and certainly represented us extremely well. They did lose eventually to Grand Valley State University, but again, it was in a shootout. Yeah. And wow, what a difficult way to end a season, where you play a regulation game, then you play one overtime, you play a second overtime, and it's still tied. And the only way to break that tie is to go to a shootout. And while it fell short of a national title, it still was the deepest run in women's soccer in NSIC history into the playoffs. So congratulations to a record-setting season for Minnesota State Mankato. Well, soccer, of course, was very competitive. We're just getting underway with what is also a very competitive sport in the conference, wrestling. And we have a lot of talent, nationally ranked and, of course, regionally ranked in wrestling in the Northern Sun. Well, I think our next show will have a lot to speak about in terms of wrestling. Certainly, it's a little early in their season, and as you well know, as you go into the holiday season, they have to kind of get through this and watch their weights and all those sorts of things, which you don't, but they do. And so they really don't get hot and heavy into wrestling until after the holiday season, after the first of the year. But currently, we have St. Cloud State ranked number 3 in the country, Upper Iowa University ranked number 4, Minnesota State ranked number 9, Augustana ranked number 14, and 2 other schools that got votes. And the Huskies, of course, with famous Seamus O'Grady at 184 leading the way. Off to a good start, but again, it's very, very early. You said that because he was the wrestler of the week last week. We are. He's also a like Minnesota product. Okay. Can you beat the name? You can't do that at all. When we come back, a sport you know very well, we'll talk basketball, men's and women's, as we continue on the Northern Sun Showcase.
I chose Division II because athletes graduate at a higher rate.
I can stay closer to home and be an important part of the community. I chose Division II because I can double major
and take part in campus activities.
I chose Division II because classrooms are smaller.
Students have more time with their instructors.
And I can compete for a national championship. I chose Division II for all these reasons and more.
I chose
Division II.
We all train differently. It's about numbers. What works for you might not work for your teammates. The same thing goes for staying hydrated. As you compete, you sweat, and it leaves your body at a unique rate. At a certain point before the game's even over, you sweat so much that your performance suffers, unless your numbers are right. Through superior research, we've unlocked the formula to optimize those numbers. The math for you is simple.
The Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference, 16 schools, 18 sports, one common goal, athletic and academic excellence. Student athletes in the league compete and win NCAA National Championships while learning the skills to compete and win in life. The NSIC has developed into one of the premier NCAA Division II conferences in the nation. The NSIC, win here, win in life. Learn more at northernsun.org or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Here comes Kylie Hebert. 5 seconds left to go. Back passes. Zabel for the win! Morgan Zabel wins the ball game as she hits a 3 from the top of the key as time expires and the Dragons win it 63-60.
Well, that chill in the air means it's basketball season, Butch. You know it well, and let's get a little flavor of what we can expect. What do you think? Looking at the women's side, after 3 games, just going into this weekend, we have 3 teams that are undefeated in conference play, that being Augustana, St. Cloud State University, and Minnesota State
Mankato. They're also undefeated in their non-conference play.
And we like to look ahead a little bit. The coaches pick, preseason pick, and the South, it is Augustana's Alex Feeney.
Alex is a senior. She's a two-time all-conference player in the Northern Sun, averaging 16 points and 7 rebounds last year.
And in the North Division, it's Katrina Newman out of Minnesota Duluth.
Katrina is only a junior, and she was actually our freshman of the year 2 years ago, and she averaged 14 points and 8 rebounds last year for the Bulldogs.
Let's shift over on the men's side. How you see that this year?
Well, it's very similar to the women. We have Augustana and St. Cloud State that are both 3-0, but along with them, Upper Iowa is tied at 3-0 with Augustana, and Northern State is tied with St. Cloud State at 3-0. Both St. Cloud and Augustana are undefeated also in their non-conference play.
And what do the coaches think about the individual players? Well, the coaches poll in the South are looking at Winona's Clayton Vetty.
Well, that's not a tough call.
No.
Clayton's an All-American, and last year he averaged 16 points and 7 rebounds, so certainly someone to be worked about.
And in the North, Minnesota State University Moorhead playing some inspired basketball lately. And let's look at Alex Novak, who's going to be their player of the year according to the coaches.
Alex led them to one of their best years ever last year, and he averaged 12 points and 8 rebounds.
Well, one of the teams, of course, to watch year in and year out, and a little bit of reloading this year, would be the Augustana Vikings. And let's find out more about what they have in store for the season. Here's Dylan Scott.
Now in his 29th year of coaching, Augustana men's basketball coach Tom Billiter has led more kids to stardom than Simon Cowell. And with one of the top Division II classes signed for this season, he thinks the hits will keep on coming.
Playing 6 freshmen, and so, very nice local flavor in the sense that Zach Huskin and Dan Jansen are 2 big kids here from the region that are, playing just not only a lot of minutes, but playing very key minutes for us. Casey Schilling from Ellsworth, who's got to replace his brother.
For the first time in 4 seasons, the Vikings move forward without star Cody Schilling, a 3-time all-conference selection and the school's all-time leading scorer.
Just some great kids last year that were seniors that are now gone, but on the flip side, you get a whole new, crop, and so the new kids are in, and obviously I'll miss one of them.
In the leadership department, Augustana returns 2 key seniors from last year's 17 and 11 NCAA tournament team, including forward Leaf Nomeland and first-team All-NSIC guard Cameron McCaffrey.
From a leadership perspective, it's a little different. You got to fill in the holes there with all the seniors leaving, but I think a lot of the young guys are stepping up big time, so it's going well.
Always talk on the floor, defensively, no matter what drill we're doing, just communicate.
At the Elman Center, the bar is always set high, with the Vikes having made the dance in 4 of the last 5 seasons. However, with youth being served, this will be a work in progress.
Down the road, this team could be incredibly dangerous even yet this year. There's a learning curve.
And the tests will come early as the Northern Sun Conference is as good as ever.
I think a lot of these freshmen are going to see what it's all about here pretty quick.
In Sioux Falls, Dylan Scott, KSFY Sports.
If you want to stay up to date, northernsun.org is the website, and you can watch all these basketball matches and volleyball matches and everything else we got live and free with webcast. Just go to northernsun.org.
Mike, it's the end of the fall season finally. Let's thank our student athletes and coaches for a fantastic season that we had, and certainly leading us into the winter season.
And also Facebook and Twitter. Check us out. We'll keep you up to date on the latest. Have a great holiday. And for the Commissioner Butch Raymond, I'm Mike Woodley. Thanks for watching the Northern Sun Showcase.